Hello everyone. Let us create an event poster in Photoshop. So let us start. The poster that we are going to design is related to environment. It is about spreading awareness to the people about the importance of planting trees and saving the planet. We can see global warming taking place, the climate change is taking place. So, in order to prevent that, we are creating a poster where some well-known celebrities and the elite of the country are going to meet the people and spread the awareness about environment. So the files related to this poster are saved inside a folder. So these are some of the files. Here we have the background of our poster, and also some of the celebrities or well-known elites. These are the images of them, and he is the host, Steve Rogers, and also the content related to our poster is also saved inside a notepad. So we are going to properly organize this content. Right, so let us start the poster. So first we have to set the values for our poster. So let's select inches here, and the width of our document is 120 and the height of our document is 72. 120 width means we are designing a 10 feet wide poster, and 72 inches means we are designing a poster that has 6 feet height or 6 feet tall, and the resolution has to be no more than 50 because it's a 10 feet poster, it's a very big poster. So resolution has to be a very small value, right? And we should also make sure that we give some name to our poster. We will just put the name Green World Poster. Now, after putting the name, after setting all the values for our poster, here we can also check the other values. Here we have the color mode as RGB. Later, when we are about to give a final output for our poster, we can change it back to CMY, because CMY is a printing color mode, right? And then the background, we can right now leave it to white color. Later we are going to change the background color. So with all these values, we are now going to create our document. So this is our document. Now we are all set to start designing our poster. But one important thing we need to observe here. Here we can see the ruler is showing pixels here. We don't want pixels. We are going to change it back to inches. So the way to do it is, we'll go to window, and here we have the option info, and in info to the top right corner we have a hamburger menu, and from hamburger menu let us select panel options, and from panel options, if we check here, we can see this mouse coordinates, and from the mouse coordinates and for ruler units, instead of pixels we are going to select inches. So now we can see there are inches, right? Now let's activate our guides. It's always a good idea to place guides on either side of our document. So these blue lines are called guides. They are helpful for alignments and also for creating margins, right? Now let us give a 4 inches bleed to our document. So what is a bleed? Bleed will help us extend our background till the end of the paper. So in order to create the bleed, we have to go to image, and here we have the option canvas size. So from canvas size, we are going to put a width of 4 and a height of 4, and here the option relative is turned on. So simply we'll click OK. So we can see there is one more border outside our document. So that is a bleed area. Even though it doesn't appear in the print, we can see that our background will be all over the poster. It will not appear a little bit inside the poster. So we are also going to create a guide for our bleed. Right. So this is the basic design for our poster. Now the first task is, let's divide our poster into 2 sections. So on the left section, we are going to put the images of the celebrities, the chief guests, and on the right side we are going to put the main content, that is about the concept of our poster. And we are also going to put the image of host who is actually hosting the event related to our environment. So what we are going to do is, first let's create 2 sections. So here we are going to drag one more guide, and let's keep it near, let's say the X value is 37, so somewhere here. So this section, the left section, is going to have the images of chief guests who are going to attend this event, and on the right section we are going to have images of the host and also the main content. Right. Now let us create a background. So we'll create a layer, and we can rename it background. Let's select a gradient, and our poster is related to environment, so let's give a greenish gradient that suits well for our poster. So some kind of dark green and light green, and we will select radial gradient style, and we want this particular gradient on the right side. So let's fill the right section with this particular gradient, so something like this. And we have extended the gradient or the gradient background till the bleed area or the bleed margins. Right. We'll also create one more gradient which also happens to be green, but lighter green, on the left column or section. So we will create one more gradient. So we'll just pick this color first, and we will just find a lighter shade. So now let's fill this left column with this particular gradient. Right. So now we have filled both the sections with the gradient. Right. Now the next step is, we'll get the background image that is related to our poster. So let's get the background image. So this is the background image. So we'll now drag this background image and we'll now adjust it. But the most important thing is, see, the image is much smaller than our document, because we are after all designing in 10 feet document. So what we are supposed to do is, we'll convert this image into a small object. If not, it may lose its resolution when we are going to resize it. So simply we will right click on the layer and we will select convert to smart object. Now we will scale it, we'll extend it till the bleed area. So we can stretch it a little bit. You should not stretch it too much. Make sure that the image doesn't stretch much. Once we have adjusted the image, now what we'll do is we'll first rename the layer. We'll just rename the layer as image background. Right. Now we will blend the image with the green background. So we'll use multiply as a blending mode, and we will also reduce its opacity. So we can see the change. Now we can see the greenish background as well as the image. This is our starting point. Always the background gives more attraction to your poster. Right. Now we will be concentrating on this left column. We will first get the images that are necessary for the left column, and before that we will place the title, and before placing the title we have to do one more thing here. We will also create margins for the content. The most important thing is we should not put the content exactly near the border, near the edge of our document. So we have to create a margins from where we are going to start our content. So how we are supposed to create the margins? First we will just draw a marquee tool here, and we will just drag this marquee tool, rectangular marquee tool, inside our document, and we will create one more guide. So this is the margin, and our content should start from this particular margin. Right. Now we'll first type the text, and we will select the font impact. So here we will just select the font. Right. And we will just type chief guest. Right. We'll increase the size of the text. We'll keep it to, let's say, 250 points. And we have to snap the text to the guides. In case the text is not snapping to the guides, we have to check whether the option snap to guides is on or not. This option is found inside the view menu. Inside the view we can find snap to, and inside snap to we have this option guides, snap to guides. Right. We will slightly reduce the size of the text. Right. So now we have placed the text. We will also give some small amount of drop shadow to the text. We need to open layer styles, and here we will turn on drop shadow, and we will reset all the values here, default values, and we will increase the opacity, and we will just slightly increase the size here. So we can see. So now we have given a drop shadow to the text. Now we will get the images, but the most important thing to remember is we are going to place the images inside an ellipse, inside an elliptical shape. So for that, what we are supposed to do is we will just select the ellipse tool. We will change its color to, let's say, pure red. The images are going to be placed inside this ellipse. So we'll just hold shift and create a perfect ellipse here. And then what we are supposed to do is we will now get the image. We'll get the first image, which is the image of Jamila Hunt. So what we can do is we can just convert this image to a smart object, because this image might lose its resolution once we try to resize it. So it's always a good idea to convert it to a smart object and then drag it to this document. So let's scale it down. So now we will just click this image to the ellipse, layer below this image layer. So we'll just hold Alt in PC or Option in Mac and click in between these two layers. So we can see here, we can resize the image properly, and then what we'll be doing is we will merge these two layers. So we just have to hit Ctrl E in PC or Command E in Mac by selecting both the layers. Right. Now we will also apply some layer style to it. So we'll give it let's say some white color stroke. We'll increase the size of the stroke, and we will also give it some drop shadow. Right. Now let's try to resize the image properly. We need to align the image properly. Right. And now let us take two more duplicates of this image. We can take the help of these pink lines or smart guides to align all the images. We need to ensure that all the three images have equal spacing. Right. Now let's get the remaining images. Now let's get the second image. To get the second image, normally we don't have to use this file open option. What we'll be doing is we'll go to file and we'll select place embedded instead of file open. So what this option will do is it will open the image in the active document, or it will open the image in this poster document, and also it will open the image as a smart object. So in that way we'll be saving a lot of time, and also the image appears as a smart object, so it will also preserve its resolution. This is the image of Kiran Sethi. So we will also place this image inside this second ellipse. So what we'll be doing is we will first scale it down, and we will use the same clipping mask method to clip this image inside this second ellipse. We'll simply use Alt and PC and Option and Mac and click in between the two layers. Right. So we need to adjust the image properly. Right. And we will also merge these two layers. Right. We can properly rename the layer also. The first layer is Jamila Hunt. Right. So we have to get one more image. So we will do the same thing. We'll go to file and we'll select place embedded, and we will get the image of this third person, and this person's name is I think let's check the name. The person's name Martin Graham. Right. So we will put this person inside this ellipse. Right. So we also have adjusted this person now, and we will merge these two layers. Right. Now we have properly placed the images inside the elliptical shapes. and we can slightly scale the images. We can create some extra space, and also we can do one more thing, that is we can select individual images and create some space, because we are also going to put the names of these persons. Now let's put the names and the profile information of these chief guests. So we'll start with Jamila Hunt, and we'll also put her profile information below her name, or we can say designation. So her designation is fashion designer, and we will highlight this word and we will reduce the size of this word, size of designation. Right. Now we will just apply pure black color to this text. Right. And we will keep it below her image. We'll make it small. But this is not actually small, because it is a 10 feet poster, and when we actually give this poster for print, her name is going to appear clearly. Right. Now we will take a duplicate of her name, and we will rename it. This person's name is Kiran Sethi, and he is project leader in NASA. Right. Now we'll take one more duplicate, and this person's name is Martin Graham, and he is former basketball player for Chicago Bulls. Right. So now we got the names. Now we will properly organize the layer stack. So what we'll be doing is, first we will put all the images inside a group. So we'll select all the image layers, the images of the chief guests, and we will group it, and we will rename the group chief guest images. And then we will select the names of the chief guests, and we will group it, and we will rename the group as chief guest names. And we will select all the content related to the chief guest, and we will group it, and we will just rename the group chief guest content. So now our layer stack looks very simple. It's a very easy and a proper way of organizing the layer stack. We can simply check all the content related to our poster by collapsing these groups. This is a professional way of organizing the layers. Right. So now we have finished the left column. Now we will concentrate on the right column. The right column, we are going to place the main content that is related to our poster. So now the first thing we are supposed to do is we'll get the image of the host. So instead of going to file and selecting place embedded to open the image of host, we will use the normal method, that is file open, and we'll select the image of Steve Rogers, because we need to do some editing here. Right. So first we need to select the subject, and we will just click on this select subject. I have activated the quick selection tool and I have selected the subject, and we will also do some simple hair selection. So for that, what we need to do is, just besides the select subject option, here we have the option select and mask. We'll just click on it, and then inside the select and mask we have this option refine edge brush tool. With this particular tool we will just select the hair of this subject. We don't want anything else. So we have selected the hair. Now what we'll be doing is, we'll simply scroll down, and here we have the option output to, and here the current option is selection. We will select the option layer mask, and now we will click OK. Right. Now the next step is, we need to check here whether we have lost any important details of this subject. So we need to go inside mask editing mode. So what we are supposed to do is, we just have to hold Alt or Option in Mac and click on the mask thumbnail to go inside mask editing mode, or to see the alpha of this subject. So now we'll select a brush. We'll keep overlay as the blend mode for this particular brush, and make sure that white is in the foreground. We have to paint white over the subject. We need to check whether there is gray or black inside the subject. So here we can see there is some black inside the hairs of the subject, or inside the subject. So we have to just get rid of that gray color, because if we don't remove that gray, we might lose important details of the subject. So here also we can see there is some black color or gray color. So we have to change the blend mode to normal, and we will paint white over that particular black color. Right, so now we got rid of all the black inside the subject. Now we'll come out of the mask editing mode. We'll simply hold Alt in PC or Option in Mac and click on the mask thumbnail, and now we are out of the mask editing mode. Now let us see whether we have properly selected the hair. We'll just create a background here. We'll just change the background color to, let's say, red, and we can just zoom and check in case we have missed any part of the hair. It's looking fine, but there is some dark color over the edges of the hair, so we have to get rid of that. So we will just create a layer above the subject layer. We will click this empty layer to the subject layer, and what we will be doing is, we will use this clone stamp, and for the clone stamp we need to keep the option current and below active, and then we will just Alt click or Option click on the subject's hair, and we will just paint over the edges. We will paint over the edges. We need to be careful here. That's it. This is a quick way of selecting the hair. Right. So now we have properly selected the hair. We will now merge these two layers and we will delete the background layer, and now we will convert the image to a smart object and we will drag this image inside our poster. Right. And in case we think that there is some issue on the edges here, we can still fix it. So what we can do is we'll just double click on this smart object icon, so that we'll go inside another document. This is the main document or editable document. So let's see whether we have lost any details or we have messed up in any part of the image. So we can check here. We can zoom and check, and we can also do one thing. We can just slightly contract the selection here. So we can just hold Control in PC or Command in Mac and click on the image thumbnail, and then we'll go to the select menu, and in select we have the option modify and we'll select the option contract. We'll contract by let's say 1 pixel, and now we will invert the selection. We can simply hit Ctrl Shift I or Command Shift I and we will just hit delete. Right. And now we will save it. We'll go to file and we'll select save. That's it. And we just have to delete the background here and we will save it again. Right. Now this looks better. Right. So now we will scale the image and we just have to put some small amount of text so that we'll be completing our poster. We'll start with the title, and before that we will rename this layer as host image. Right, we will start with the title. The title is Green World. We will give it a greenish gradient. We will just open the layer styles and we'll just select a dark green and a light green color, and we will select a reflected, and we will also reverse the reflected gradient style, and we will also make sure that the light color is a little bit dark, so something like this. But we can see our text gradient is mixing with the background, so we are not able to see our text properly. So we will apply a stroke to it, and we will also reduce the stroke here, and we will also apply a drop shadow to it. Right, and we will resize the text, make it big. We can resize it even further. Right. And we can also resize the image. We will make the image a little bit small. Right. Now this looks better. Now we will put the remaining content here. The next content we are going to put is plant trees and save the planet. We'll just copy it, and we'll just create a multi-line text here, and we'll paste the text. We want 2 lines of text, so something like this. We'll increase the size of it. We will just put a value of, let's say, 270. and we will change its color to pure white. And what we'll be doing is we will just keep it like this, right? So something like this. This looks better. And then we'll also apply some drop shadow to it. This looks better. And to make it more attractive, we will also do one thing. We will select a rectangle tool. We'll give a value of 60 in its roundness. We want this rectangle to be a rounded rectangle, so something like this, and we'll make it more rounded, something like a capsule. And we will turn off its fill, and we will give the stroke color pure white color. But we also need to increase the stroke size. We want the stroke to be a little bit thick so that it will be visible. So something like this. Right. This looks better. Now we just have a little more content left, and once we can finish it, we'll be finishing our event poster. So the next thing that we are going to get here is we will put the details of the venue, and also we will also put the name of the host and also his profile details. We will use this label, and this label is downloaded from freepik.com. There are plenty of graphic resources in that particular website. It is very much helpful for graphic designers. So we will be putting the venue details inside this label. So first let us get this label and place it inside our poster. So here is the label. We'll first convert it into a small object so that it may not lose its resolution, and we can just scale it down. We can keep it on the right side, something like this. We can make it big. Right. So now let's put the venue details. So we can directly just copy all the data here. So we can just copy the date, the place, and everything else. And now we'll select the type tool. We'll just draw a selection or create a text block, and we will just paste our content. We can arrange it properly. Right. We can just create a multi-line text here. So you can just keep it here, and we can also do one more thing, that is we can just put the heading as a venue. We can also just put the timings here. Timing has to be 9 AM. And here we also need to adjust the content properly. So just we need to adjust it carefully, that's it. Right. So now we have adjusted the venue, and we can group the venue details, venue and also the label inside a group. We can put everything inside a group, and we can just rename the group as venue info. Right. You can just scale it. Right. So now here we need to put the name of this host. So the name is Steve Rogers. And below his name we also need to put his designation or his profile information. So he is a prominent film critic and a businessman. We'll just create a text block, and we'll just paste the information. His name has to be big, and his profile details need to be small. And we can just keep his details a little bit close to him, close to his image. Right. So now one thing we'll be doing is we will also give some drop shadow to this Steve Rogers text, and we can just copy the same layer style to the profile information. So we can simply hold Alt in PC or Option in Mac and drag this FX icon and drop it on this profile information, something like this. Right. So we only have a small things left now. That is, we have to get the images related to the sponsors who are sponsoring this event. So we will just go to File, and here we have the option Place Embedded. So here we will get the images of the sponsors. So here is the image of FedEx. So we can just drag it. We can just place it wherever we want. We don't have to place it only in one particular place. Then we will get another image of the sponsor, another sponsor. So Starbucks. And there is one more sponsor. So we'll get the image of let's say Nike. And we'll get one more image that is of Google. oh sorry, Amazon. We'll finish off our poster. We'll do some small changes here, and also we also have a little bit of extra content that we are going to place. So first thing what we'll be doing is we will give some stroke to these sponsors, the sponsor images. So we'll just double click on this. Actually, it's not Google, it's Amazon. So we'll just double click on this Amazon layer. We'll open the layer styles. We'll just give it a stroke, and we'll reduce the stroke size to, let's say, okay, 1 pixel is okay. Right. We'll do the same thing for the remaining sponsors. We'll simply hold Alt in PC or Option in Mac and drag the effects icon and drop it on the other sponsor layers. So here we have applied to the Nike, and we'll do the same thing for Starbucks. So we can see here, and we'll also do the same thing for the FedEx layer. So you can see, although the FedEx is not so interesting here, so we can see something else here. We can do something else. I think we have to just select the FedEx layer, double click it, and we'll try to turn off the stroke for it. We can give it a drop shadow, and we can give it a white color shadow. This looks better. Right. So there is one more content left here, so we'll get that. So here is the content. Join Steve and team to be a savior of environment. So we'll just copy it, and we will just select the type tool. We'll create a text block here, and we'll paste the text. We'll make the text very small. We'll make it 150 points text, and we just have to adjust it properly, and we can keep it here. You can slightly increase it, that's it. We don't want to put everything in a congested position actually. That's why we need to leave some space. Right. And also we can do one thing here. We can put the Starbucks, because there is a lot of empty space over here, and we can also move this FedEx and keep it over here. So in this way we will be not leaving too much of empty space on any side of the poster. So you can just select the Amazon here. So where's Amazon? So we can just slightly make it big. Right. So now everything looks fine. Now we'll do some simple housekeeping things, and we'll be then completing the poster. The poster will be ready for export. So first what we'll do is we'll organize our layer stack properly. So what we'll do is we'll first put all the sponsor images inside the sponsor group. So we'll select all the sponsor images here. We'll group them, and we'll just rename the group sponsors. Right. And we will also put the Steve Rogers related content inside its own group. So we'll select the Steve Rogers and also the information about his profile. So we can just type Steve Rogers text, and then we will also put this rectangle. We will rename the rectangle as a plant trees border, and we'll just select both the border and the plant trees text, and we'll create a group of it, and we can just say plant trees content. So in this way, if we organize our layer stack, it will be very nice for us. It will be convenient for us to work, and if we are going to share our project with some of our teammates, even they can understand our layer stack properly. So this is a very good housekeeping procedure. Right. Now the most important step, we have to export our poster. To export our poster, first we need to hide the guides. So we can simply hit Ctrl H in PC or Command H in Mac. We can see. So this is our poster. So first thing what we are supposed to do is, we will just select all the layers from the topmost layer till the background layer, and we will right click on all the layers and we'll select the option convert to smart object. So we are going to convert all the layers into a smart object. Right. Now the thing we are supposed to do is, we will change the color mode of our poster. We have to change the color mode of our poster to CMY, because CMY is a color mode for print. So if we are going to give our poster for print, we have to convert our poster to CMY color mode, because the printers support CMY color mode. So for that, what we are supposed to do, we will go to image, and here we have the option mode, and we will select the option CMY color, and immediately a message pops up which says changing modes can affect appearance of layers, flatten image before mode change. We don't want to flatten the layers because we have to use the layers for later use. We have to keep all the layers intact, because if you want to modify the poster again, we need all the layers. So we'll just say don't flatten. We don't want to flatten the layers. And again we see one more image that is saying changing modes can affect the appearance of smart object. Rasterize smart object before mode change. So we don't want to rasterize. Just we'll click don't rasterize, because all the original objects are inside the smart object. What we are seeing right now is a duplicate of the original images. So we'll just click on the don't rasterize, and we'll simply click OK. So now we can see our poster has turned a little bit light. So this is the color that we are going to see when we are going to give our poster for print. Now we are all set to save our poster. We'll simply go to file and we'll select save as, and we can just save our poster as a JPEG file. So we can select the JPEG and we can just give the name Green World Poster. So we can give any other name also, and we will just save. And here we can see we are going to get a very big file, because after all it is a 10 feet poster. So we can actually create a medium size file if you want. So we'll now click OK. So it's going to take time. Here we can see. Right. So now this is the poster. This is the poster which is ready for print. We can now directly give it for print, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please do like, subscribe, share, and if you have anything to say, do comment. See you again.